3 seconds left in the ball game. My, oh my. It had to end this way. When you come right down to it, it had to come down to something like this. A last second, do or die, put it up and pray situation. It has been a season of struggle, a season of injury, a season of come back from long losing streaks, a season of, well, you've been there, you know. And here it is all boiled down to the final 3 seconds of play. 3 seconds left in the ball game. And it could be in the season. Clemens will inbound. Well, who's gonna take the shot? Clemens gets the ball. Clemens looks. Clemens, the bounce to Foster. Foster at the circle. Top of the key, a shot is blocked, and that's the ball game. It is all over. The final score. The Kansas City Omaha Kings 95, the Cleveland Cavaliers 94, and the season ends in Omaha, Nebraska.
The voice of Nick Maletti.
The Cavaliers were founded because they needed to be founded. We had a situation when we bought the arena in the Barrens in 1968 where we had Cleveland, Ohio, the 8th market in the United States of America, with no professional basketball. Now towns like Milwaukee, towns like Seattle, towns like Phoenix, they're nice people live there and they're nice towns, but they're small towns. They had NBA basketball, and here we were in our town without it. So we went to work immediately. One of the first calls I made was to Walter Kennedy, as he will tell you. And we started a series of negotiations that took from the end of 68 until we put the team together and got the franchise in April of 70. And then we started to play that ball.
Warren into the forecourt on the left wing, going against Dave Bing, high post to Wesley. Wesley, right side to Sorensen, the big D, comes around Driscoll to the side of the circle, back out on the right. Bobby Lewis jump shot is across the rim to Bingo, whistle and foul. And we've got a push off on Bingo, and that's 4 fouls on Bingo Smith. Comes Gary Freeman into the game. Freeman replacing Bingo.
Hi, this is Joe Tait. Remember that season of 1970-71? The Cavaliers had a coach and general manager named Bill Fitch who had coached at Bowling Green in Minnesota, but had absolutely no experience in professional basketball. That's the way Nick Maletti wanted it, a fresh face for his new franchise, not a tired retread who had bounced around from club to club. The Cavs started with an unbelievable collection of cast-offs from other NBA teams assembled through the expansion draft, blended with inexperienced college graduates claimed in the regular draft. The results were predictable. The Cavaliers lost their first 15 games and wound up winning only 15 games in that entire campaign. Their record wasn't that much better the next year, when they won only 23. Fact of the matter is, the third and fourth campaigns produced only a total of 61 victories. If nothing else, they were consistent. The Cavs finished each of their first 4 seasons in last place in the NBA's Central Division. On many occasions, the only thing that kept them going was Bill Fitch's sparkling sense of humor.
I think the one-liners that I used in those days are still true. You go through 15 and 67 season, and you've got to feel that even though your ship has come in, all of a sudden there's a dock strike.
Maletti didn't panic, though. He had predicted at the outset it would take 5 years to make the playoffs, and he came very close to that prediction.
The reason I said 5 years was because if you end up last, you get the first or second round draft choice once, twice, 3, 4 times, you're going to start to get some serious talent on that team. And it's that talent that wins and loses games. So that was the principle of the 5 years in basketball, with a 12-man squad playing 5 at a time. You can do it in 5 years.
The talent came slowly. A parade of basketball players arrived and went as Fitch tried to assemble a combination that could play with the NBA's best. Austin Carr of Notre Dame arrived as the first draft pick in 1971. Towering Jim Brewer, number 1 pick from Minnesota in 1973, stuck too, as did Campy Russell and Foots Walker of West Georgia, numbers 1 and 2 in 1974. Fitch went to the market for the rest of the cast, acquiring Ohio State's Jimmy Clemens from the Los Angeles Lakers at the start of the 1972-73 season, and veteran Dick Snyder of North Canton and Davidson from the Seattle Supersonics for 1974-75. Fitch made one of his greatest deals when he acquired the rights to 6'11" Jim Jones of Marquette from the Los Angeles Lakers that same year. Jones had labored for 2 years in the now-defunct ABA. The only holdover from that original bunch of Cavaliers was Bobby Bingo Smith, the pride of Tulsa. All that helped to pull the Cavs to respectability in 1974-75 when they won 40 and lost 42 and missed the playoffs on the final day of the season. A season that had seen them move to a new home, Nick Milletti's Coliseum at Richfield. There were few changes at the outset of the 75-76 season, and Cleveland lost 11 of its first 17 games. Fitch went to market again. This time he came up with solid gold. Nate Thurmond, one of the enduring stars of the NBA. After 13 seasons of the NBA, Thurmond was nearing the 14,000 mark in both points and rebounds. He had spent 12 seasons with San Francisco and Golden State, and the 1974-75 campaign with the Chicago Bulls. The price was a bargain. Cleveland gave up backup center Steve Patterson and rookie Eric Fernston of San Francisco for Thurmond and 25-year-old Roland Garrett, a 3-year NBA veteran.
At the time we picked Nate up, I felt that our basketball team was playing better basketball than what we had been playing the year before when we actually finished the season strong and missed the playoffs by just 1 game. And there wasn't really anything we could do to get better other than pick up somebody to replace the one weakness I felt we had, and that was when we took Jim Jones off the floor. We became an inferior basketball team for 6 or 7 or 18 minutes, depending on how long we could keep Jim off. And if we continued to play Jim 40 minutes, we still weren't going to make it up. We were 8 minutes short at the center position, and we were going to have a tired Jones, and probably by the time the season rolled around, another 16 games, he would be playing at about half effect. So what Nate gave us was full 48 minutes of top center play.
With Thurmond, a native of Akron, Ohio, backing up Jones in the center, it was turnaround time. By December 19th, the Cavaliers were 14-14, and they were never below 500 for the remainder of the season. Thurmond had made the difference, and what a difference. The Cavaliers were now not only contenders for the playoffs, but for the Central Division title as well. On March 31st, 1976, the Cavaliers got their hands into the pot of gold by beating the New Orleans Jazz 110-101 to clinch their first playoff bid in history.
Cavaliers are leading 106-99 with 1 minute to play in the game. Washington has already lost to Golden State. The Cavaliers, if they can hang on and win this one, number 1, will assure themselves of a playoff spot for the first time in their history, and number 2 will go into first place in the Central Division by 3 percentage points. 108-101, 17 seconds to go in the ball game. The Cavaliers will inbound. Lob to center floor to Russell. Russell into the forecourt on the left wing. Underneath the Brew, double pump up and in. Brewers got 11. 110-101. It's all over at the Superdome. Kelly gives the ball to Bibby. Bibby down the left side. Bibby shoots on the run. Put it up. No good, and that's the game. The Cavaliers are in the playoffs for the first time in their history. And they are in first place in the Central Division by 3 percentage points. The final score at the Superdome in New Orleans. Cleveland 110, the New Orleans Jazz 101.
In an incredible 11-day period, the Cavaliers hung on to outlast the Washington Bullets by 1 game, finishing the season with a record of 49 wins and 33 losses. They had been 42-22 since Thurmond joined the club. Their first playoff foe was Washington, whom they had beaten 4-2 in regular season play. The matchup was a study in contrast. The Bullets had been to the playoffs before. The Cavaliers were brand new at it. Washington had a bread-and-butter lineup including Dave Bing, Phil Chenier, the Big E, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld, Truck Robinson, and Nick the Spoon Weatherspoon. And they were still smarting from their 4 straight shellackings by Golden State in the 1974-75 NBA Championship Finals. The Cavaliers had one thing going for them: incredible balance. During the 82-game regular season, 7 members of the team had averaged 10 points or more per game: Russell, Smith, Snyder, Jones, Clemens, Brewer, and Carr. And of course, there was the ominous presence of Nate Thurmond, who had appeared in 7 previous playoffs with San Francisco, Golden State, and Chicago. Only Snyder and Clemens among the other regulars had ever been in playoff competition, and their experience was limited. It was a tense moment for the Cavaliers and the 19,974 faithful who crammed into the Coliseum for game number 1. Washington ran off 8 straight points before 230-pound Jim Jones muscled his way on a driving layup to give Cleveland its first playoff points. The Bullets were hot, connecting on 12 of their first 14 shots to race to a 20-point lead. The Cavaliers played catch-up the entire evening, falling short with a stirring rally, 100-95. They were 1 game down in the best-of-7 series. Most of the players chalked off the loss as a case of opening game jitters. The scene switched to Landover, Maryland for Game 2, and a crowd of 17,982 was at Capitol Center to see if the Bullets could make it 2 straight. It was then that the Cavaliers began fashioning miracles. Let's tune in on the action with 1:27 remaining and Washington up by 5.
1:27 left in the game. Bullets 79, Cavaliers 74. Brewer will inbound to the right of the hoop. Brewer looks inside. Nobody there. Trying to flip outside, does to Snyder. Now into Jones. Turn around out of the lane to the left. 10-footer good. Jones has the dozen. 79-76. 1:21 to play in the ball game. Bing and Clemens bump and run into the forecourt around an unshelled pick to the left wing. Comes Bing. Bing on the dribble. Left side against Clemens. Again around an unshelled pick to the line. 15-footer by Dave. Bing doesn't go. Rebound, volley ball to Russell. Down the floor to Clemens. Clemens into the forecourt with 1:03 to go. Clem with a 20-footer. Good! Clemens has got 14. 79-78. 1 minute to play. Into the forecourt comes Bing. Less than a minute to go. Bing up to the timeline. Bing against Clemens on the left wing. 51 seconds to go. Whistle and timeout Washington. Bing to inbound to Hayes. Hayes top of the key against Thurmond. Pass to Chenier at the top of the key. Chenier against Snyder. Chenier down the right side. Now Chenier right of the lane. The bounce under to Unseld. Lost the ball. Whistle and a 3-second call on the Bullets. Gives the ball back to Cleveland, and the Cavaliers take time. 41 seconds to play in the ball game. The Cavaliers are trailing by 1 point, and they will have the ball at center floor. Clemens at center floor is going to inbound it. They got 4 guys down deep. The bounce to Russell, who comes out, gives it back to Clemens. The Cavaliers can run a full 24. Here's Clemens on the right side. Clemens against Bing. They'll look for a good shot. Russell left side. Bingo in the corner. Comes free. Lost the ball. Bing back out front. Whistle walking call on the Cavaliers. Bing had broken free, but it won't count because he walked with the ball after the basketball got away from him. Unseld will inbound in front of the Cavalier bench. Unseld into Jones. Jones in the backcourt with pressure from Russell. Jones lobs it to Unseld. Cross court to Chenier. Down the left side to Bing. Bing to the left of the lane. Dribbles it back out front. 19 seconds to go in the game. Hook pass from Jones back on the left wing to Bing. Bing on the left wing. Russell comes out on him. Bing working on him around an Unseld pick. Double pressure down the left side. Bing palmed the ball. Bing palmed the ball. He did. Good call, Rakel. Unbelievable finish. The Cavaliers will have the ball at center floor. 6 seconds to go in the game, and the Bullets are leading 79-78. 6 seconds to go. Clemens gets the ball. Clem to Bingo. Bobby top of the key. 25-footer. Bingo! Bobby hit it. 2 seconds to go. The Bullets are going to take time. We've got 2 seconds to go, or do they have any timeouts left? Yes, timeout Washington. Bobby Smith just hit a jumper from out in front of the circle, and believe it or not, with 2 seconds to go in the game, it is Cleveland 80, Washington 79, and the Bullets have taken timeout. Unseld at center floor, they're all sagging back. The count is on. Pass to Hayes. He spins, shoots out of the crowd. He didn't get it. Game's over. Cleveland wins 80-79. Hayes put it up from the sideline in the crowd, and the Cavaliers have tied the series at 1 game each.
The Cavaliers were loose when they returned to Richfield for game number 3, and they showed it during the first half to the delight of 21,061 screaming fans who set an NBA playoff record. Austin Carr scored on 4 of 5 from the field and 7 of 8 free throws for a 15-point outburst as the Cavaliers mounted a 45-37 halftime lead. Washington kept it close during the third period despite an 8-point performance by Dick Snyder. The Cavs put it away in the fourth, as we hear now.
8:17 to go in the game. Cleveland leads 71-58. Brewer has 6 points in the game. He is 2 for 5 at the line. Jimmy Clemens replaces Foots Walker, and Brewer hits the first free shot. 72-58. Brewer again shoots. He got them both. Brewer with 8. 73-58 Cleveland. Jones coming up in the backcourt against Clemens. Jones up to the timeline. Jones against Clemens between the circles to the right wing. Bounce off to Robinson. Robinson on the left now to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon top of the key. Off on the left side, Haskins with a long bomb. No good. Rebound, Clemens with Weatherspoon. It's out of bounds off Clemens. Weatherspoon on the baseline, holding, lobs it out front to Robinson. Robinson top of the key. Down the left to the lane, heads for the hoop. Stop, skip, shot, no, rebound, Brewer. Brewer on the floor, all the way to the circle, left side, Carr. Carr drives in, put it up and in. Austin Carr is playing like the old days. Robinson, baseline left. Bounces back out to Chenier. Now to Jimmy Jones in the lane. 12-footer on the rim and in. Jones with 8. 75-60 Cleveland. Smith coming up in the backcourt. 7.5 to go in the game. Smith down the left side. Smith against Weatherspoon. Smith and Weatherspoon still one-on-one. Left side, Smith down in the corner to Clemens. Clemens the pass into Jones. Put it up off the glass and rim good. Jones has 8. 77-60 Cleveland. Into the forecourt, Chenier against Carr. Chenier out front, top of the key. The line, 15-footer by Chenier. No good. Rebound off on the floor. Grabbed by Brewer. Brewer in the backcourt, give to Clemens. Clemens with 6:31 to play in the game comes up into the forecourt. Clemens against Chenier. The bounce to Brewer on the right side. In the corner to Bingo Smith. He's going to fire it. Bingo! 14 for Bingo. Timeout, Washington. 6:19 to go in the game. Cleveland 79, Washington 60.
The Cavs won 88-76 on a tremendous defensive effort. The second straight game the Bullets were held under 80 points. The Cavs had a 2-1 lead as the action again switched to Landover. A little-used substitute named Clem Haskins provided the difference on that evening. Haskins hit on 10 of 14 shots to spur Washington to a 109-98 victory after it was tied at 51 at halftime. Every time the Cavaliers threatened to make it close, Haskins was there with his radar jumper. So it was back to the Coliseum, game number 5, and time for another miracle. Another NBA playoff record crowd was in the house that Maletti built, and the fans were at fever pitch as the Cavs tried once again to take a lead in the series. The game started out as another nose-to-nose battle, tied at the end of the first quarter at 23 all, and Washington holding a razor-thin 49-48 lead at the half. Dick Snyder poured in 7 of 12 shots and 2 free throws to keep it that close. Cleveland was up by 5, 76-71 at the end of the third quarter, and it promised to be anybody's ball game in the final 12 minutes. Washington caught up at 78. It was tied at 86 as Elvin Hayes calmly contributed a free throw and a loose ball foul by Nate Thurmond. Then came one of the most incredible finishes in Cavalier history. Let's listen.
Hayes could tie it. First one goes up. Good. This is a brand new ball game. 22 for Elvin Hayes. 1:48 left. Hayes ready again. Sights and shoots. No good. Rebound Brewer. Ball hung on the iron. Brewer hauls it down. The game tied at 86. Brewer into the forecourt of the right wing. Brewer on the right side. 1:40 to go in the game. Brewer dribbles it out front. He's open. Comes down the right wing. Top of the key and stops. Brewer holding. Now to Thurmond on the left. Thurmond with 8 on the shot clock. Give to Clemens. Top of the key. Clem to the line. To the lane. To the hoop. Put it up. No. Tipped by Brewer. Brewer with 13. 88-86 Cleveland. 1:24 to go in the game. Out of the backcourt, Jones against Clemens. Jones into the forecourt to the top of the key. Stopped by Brewer. Unselled. Unselled. Fakes. Goes into the lane. Pass under to Hayes. He put it up. Put it in. And he was fouled. Hayes has a hoop.
for 24, and he'll go for a three-point play, and he can give the Bullets the lead again. It's tied at 88. 1:12 left. Elvin Hayes trying to untie it. Sights it, shoots it, got it. 25 for Elvin Hayes, and the Cavaliers take time. Clemens will inbound it. 1:12 left. Washington up by 1. Clemens into Russell. Russell sideline left down to a minute and 10. Russell standing on the left. Russell moves it on Weatherspoon. Out front to Brewer. Brewer between the circles. Brewer top of the key. Gives to Clemens. A minute to go. Clemens out front. 10 on the shot clock. Give to Snyder. Snyder top of the key. 20-footer. Good! Snyder with 26. 90-89. Cleveland by 1. 50 seconds to go in the game. Bing into the forecourt. Bing against Clemens out front. Bing and Clemens one-on-one. 44 seconds left. Bing on the right wing. The bounce to Chenier. Chenier right of the lane. Spin. Shoots over Snyder. Good. Chenier has 17. 91-90 Bullets. 36 seconds to go in the game. Into the forecourt, Clemens. Clemens between the circles. 30 seconds to play. Left side can't be Russell. Russell against Weatherspoon. 26 seconds to go. Brewer, right wing. Right side, Snyder. Snyder with pressure from Chenier. Snyder dribbles top of the key. 5 on the shot clock. Pass inside. Banged away by Unseld. Picked up by Hayes. The Bullets can kill the clock. Coming down the floor. Bing into the forecourt. Now to Hayes on the right. He's fouled by Russell. 7 seconds left. And the Bullets lead by a point. Hayes will shoot 2. He could give the Cavaliers an almost insurmountable task. 7 seconds left, and the Bullets lead 91-90. Hayes line right. He takes a long look. Sights it and shoots it. No good! 91-90, 7 seconds left. Hayes again. Line right. Sights it. Shoots it. No good! Rebound Brewer. Timeout Cleveland. 6 seconds to go in the game. And Elvin Hayes missed 2 free shots. And the Cavaliers take time. There are 6 seconds left in this game. Washington leads 91-90. Elvin Hayes just stood at the free shot line and missed 2 free shots. And now the Cavaliers get 1 more shot. Snyder at center floor. Snyder waits. Pass to Jones. Top of the key. Foul. Unseld the foul. Unseld takes the foul. That's his 5th. And it is the first of the final 2 minutes. So Snyder will inbound again. They had 1 to give and they took it. Took a second off the clock, now 5 seconds to go. Pass out to Bingo. Bingo on the run, the gun, no. Rebound, Clemens! Good! Clemens got it! Clemens got a rebound! And the game's over! Cleveland wins! 92-91! Unbelievable! Jimmy Clemens rebounded a missed shot with 1 second to go, and the Cavaliers have won it, and the place is going crazy. Cleveland wins it 92-91.
Back to Landover. The Cavs need 1 more win to put the Bullets away and move into the Eastern Conference Finals against the winner of the Boston-Buffalo series. Elvin Hayes was at his best, trying to atone for the 2 missed free throws during the dying minutes of the previous game. Washington built up a 17-point first-half lead, but Carr rifled in 7 of 10, and Campy added 3 more as the Cavaliers sliced the margin at halftime to 49-44. Washington was up by 10 late in the 3rd quarter, but Jones and Brewer scored to cut the lead to 71-65 at the buzzer. The Cavs went to work in a last-ditch effort to end the series in Landover. Let's pick up the action with the Bullets leading 88-85.
2:45 left. Clemens, ready. Aim, fire, good. Clemens with 9, and it is now 88-86. The Bullets by 2. 2:41 to play in the game. Jones out of the backcourt against Clemens. Into the forecourt between the circles. Jones to the right wing. Jones sideline right. Jones the bounce to Chenier. Chenier down the right side. Snyder with a foul. Bullets will inbound, far side of the forecourt. 2:31 to play in the game. 88-86, the Bullets by 2. Chenier in front of the Bullets bench. To Unseld. Unseld out on the right wing against Brewer. Unseld turns, pass to Jones. Jones top of the key. Comes down the left side. Jones against Clemens. Now double team by Thurman. The bounce out to Hayes. Hayes down the left side. 13 on the shot clock. Hayes 12-footer. Hit the rim twice. No good. Unseld put it over the hoop. No good. Rebound out to Snyder. Snyder down the floor on the dribble. Snyder into the forecourt against Jones. Stops out front. Gives to Clemens. Between the circles. Cavaliers could tie. Snyder, left side. Clemens wide open. 18-footer. Good. Game's tied. The game is tied at 88.
The two teams played ferocious defense for the final 2 minutes, and game number 6 ended in a tie, setting the stage for the first overtime session in this playoff series. It was knotted at 88 all. Quick baskets by Jones, Chenier, and Unseld jarred the Cavaliers 94-88, and by the time the clock wound down to 1:33, the margin was still 4 as we pick up the action.
We're down to 1:33 to go in overtime. Bullets lead by 4. Jones down the right side against Carr. Jones and Carr one-on-one. Turn, 12-footer, air ball, grabbed by Thurman. Thurman in the backcourt. Fires it down to Russell. Russell wing shot over to Carr. Carr drives and scores. Carr with 25. 96-94, Bullets by 2 into Jimmy Jones. 1:13 to go in overtime. Jones coming out of the backcourt against Walker. Jones and Walker one-on-one. Bounce to Unseld, top of the key. Pass to Hayes, left of the lane. Hayes turns, shoots over Thurman. Good, and he's fouled. 26 for Elvin Hayes, and it could be 27.
The Bullets went on to win the game 102-98. The Bullets had a breath of life. It all now boiled down to one game in that basketball fanatics hideaway at I-271 and Route 303 called the Coliseum. It was April 29th, and there were 21,564 in the huge white building, an all-time record crowd for the Coliseum and the NBA playoffs. From the beginning, the fans set up a din that almost blew the roof off the Coliseum. There was no tomorrow for the losers, and both teams knew it, and they played like it. It was literally like two giants standing on a wharf slugging it out toe-to-toe from the opening tip-off. Neither team led by more than 7 points. The lead changed hands 16 times and was tied on 8 occasions. The Cavs up 23-19 at the quarter, and a precarious 48-47 lead at the half. Washington in the lead by 2 at the three-quarter mark, 71-69. Dick Snyder tied it at 71, 30 seconds into the fourth. Hayes right back from the top of the key to make it 73-71. Nate Thurman on a 2-foot hook off a rebound to tie it at 73, and then a driving layup by Dave Bing and a layup by Hayes off a rebound, and the Bullets led by 4 with 8:37 remaining. The Cavs would not fold. Brewer arched one from 20 feet out on the right side, and Chenier came right back with another bucket to make it 79-75. Now the Cavaliers opened fire with 8 straight points, including 2 great shots by Jimmy Clemens. The Cavs led 83-79. Washington wouldn't quit either. Buckets by Weatherspoon and Jones tied it at 83 with 2 minutes to play. It was high drama and anybody's game.
The game is tied at 83. 2:02 left. Brewer into the forecourt. Brewer between the circles gets to Snyder. Snyder off the center circle to the left wing. Snyder stops and holds. Calls the play. Give to Brewer. 10 on the shot clock. Brewer top of the key. Snyder left side. 12-footer up. No good. Rebound Snyder. Back up. Good! Snyder with 21. 85-83 Cleveland. 1:38 to play in the game. Jones down the left side. Jones into the corner against Thurman. Turns to his right, turns to his left, and there's a whistle and a foul on Jimmy Clemens. 1:31 to play in the game. Hayes could tie it up. First one by Elvin Hayes. Goes up. It is no good. Hayes gets it again. Line right. Elvin shoots. It is no good. Rebound Thurman. Thurman to Clemens. 1:27 to go. Clemens into the forecourt. Clemens against Jimmy Jones. Clemens right side to Brewer. Brewer between the circles to Russell. 10 on the shot clock. Pass to Snyder. Deflected by Jones. Grabbed by Unseld. Back to Jones. Jones ahead into the forecourt. 1:09 to play. Jones on the right wing against Clemens. Around an Unseld pick.
Jones to the line. Can't shoot against Russell. To Chenier. 3-second call. Gives it back to the Cavaliers. 1 minute to go. Cleveland leads 85-83. Snyder will inbound in the backcourt. Pressure is on. Snyder into Clemens. Clemens brings it ahead. Less than a minute to play. Clemens into the forecourt against Jimmy Jones. Left wing Snyder. Snyder back out front to Clemens, around to the right to Brewer. Brewer with 47 to go. Gives to Russell. 9 on the shot clock. Russell to Snyder. Snyder against Chenier. Snyder drives, goes to the hoop, put it up, block, tip no, again no, rebound, loose on the floor, grabbed by Jones. Jones down to Weatherspoon, half minute to go, Weatherspoon right side, out to Unseld, back to Chenier, Chenier on the wing, 15-footer, good! Chenier with 31, 24 seconds to play, and the game is tied, and the Cavaliers take time. For one of these two teams, the season may be only 24 seconds long. Clemens going to inbound to Thurman. Back to Clemens. Clemens out of the timeline, 20 seconds to go. Clemens against Jimmy Jones. Clemens moves to the top of the key. Jones still with him, 13 seconds to go. Clemens out front, top of the key. Clemens on the dribble, timeout Cleveland.
9 seconds left in the game, and it's tied at 85. Clemens will inbound on the left side.
Clemens looks and waits, flips to Snyder. Snyder sideline left. Snyder on the dribble drive to the hoop. Put it up, good! It's good! Snyder scored with 4 seconds to go. And the Bullets take time. Cleveland 87 and Bullets 85 with 4 seconds to go. Unseld gets the ball from Jake O'Donnell at 7. Center floor. Here comes the play. Unseld lobs it underneath. Snyder knocks it free. Ball picked up by Chenier. Shoots it. No good. No Cavaliers. Cavaliers win. The Cavaliers win. 87-85. The Cavaliers have defeated the Washington Bullets 87-85. And the crowd is going berserk at the Coliseum.
There was really not much time to bask in the glory, for on the horizon loomed the Boston Celtics, and no team knew more about the playoffs than the perennial champions from Beantown. No NBA team had greater playoff tradition. The Celtics had won a dozen NBA crowns, including their last in 1974. Once again, the Cavaliers would have to depend on their tremendous balance and their hot shooting bench if they were to have a chance of staying with the tournament-wizened Celtics. But disaster struck in one of the final practice sessions before the Boston series. Jimmy Jones, the talented 6'11 center and leading scorer in both the regular season and the playoffs, broke his right foot. He was ruled out of the playoffs for the remainder of the season. It was a depressing blow to a team that had come so far, and it put the burden on Nate Thurman, the aging Warrior from Akron, who had averaged less than 18 minutes a game during the regular season. Against Boston, Thurman would be starting his first game since joining the Cavaliers. There was more than a little apprehension when the Cavaliers arrived at the Boston Garden for game number 1. This was the place where the Celtics virtually invented the game of professional basketball. And they proceeded to give the Cavaliers the kind of lesson they had given so many teams during their proud history, winning 111-99 after the Cavs had tied it at 77 at the three-quarter mark. The most encouraging sign, though, was the play of 34-year-old Nate Thurman, who played 39 grueling minutes, hauled down 16 rebounds, and scored 9 points. There was still another date in the Boston Garden before the Cavaliers could return to the warmth and comfort of the Coliseum and those wonderful screaming fans. Cleveland certainly had its opportunities in game number 2, including a pair of 9-point leads. Boston sprinted to an 8-point advantage early in the fourth, and the Cavaliers could never catch up. The final, 94-89, put the Cavaliers desperately down by 2. The 2-game Boston lead didn't put a damper on the Cleveland fans when they returned to home sweet home, where 21,564 fans packed every corner of the Coliseum. It was some welcome for a team that had its back against the wall. It was a tremendous defensive struggle, which saw Cleveland lead by 5 at the intermission. Cleveland kept the lead until 9:56 of the fourth quarter, when Silas dropped in 2 free throws to tie the score at 62. Now let's pick up the action.
Into the forecourt, Carr. Carr down the right side against White. Carr holding on the right side, bounce out to Brewer. Brewer, top of the key. Brewer gives to Bingo. Bingo, top of the key, backs off against Silas. Bingo, 18-footer out of the circle, hit the rim, and in. Brewer will get a tap in. That's 6 for Brewer. He was right up in the iron and managed to tap it in. 9:28 to play, Cleveland 64-62. Into the forecourt, Scott. Scott with it, right side, Silas. Silas against Brewer. Silas out front to Collins. Collins top of the key against Thurman. Collins holding. Right side, Scott comes free for a 15-footer. On the rim, no good. Rebound, Clemens. Out to Bingo. Bingo into the forecourt, right corner to Carr. Carr down the baseline, under the hoop, put it up. He was fouled. Carr will shoot 2. Carr's first free shot is good. Carr with his 10th point. 65-62 Cleveland. Austin again. Line left. Sights. Shoots. Got it. 11 for Carr. 66-62 Cleveland. Into Scott. Scott coming up against Jimmy Clemens. Into the forecourt. Scott and Clem one-on-one. Pass to White between the circles. He's against Carr. On the left side, Collins with the ball. Collins against Thurman. Collins holding. Collins to Kaburski. Kaburski on the left wing. Left side, the pass to White. He drives into the lane, hooked up a shot. No, and offensive goaltending, I think. Yes. Offensive goaltending on Collins, no basket. Into the forecourt, Carr. Left side to Bingo. Bingo with it. Out to Thurman at the top of the key. Now to Clemens. Clemens right wing. Off in the right corner to Carr. Carr moves to the lane. Against Silas. Fadeaway shot by Carr off the rim. No. Brewer the rebound. Out to Bingo on the wing. Top side to Clemens, around to Carr on the right. Carr against Silas. Pass inside. Bingo in a crowd. Ball banged away. Carr got it back on the right wing. Carr way out on the right wing. Moves in on Silas. Down to the baseline. Give to Brewer. Out front to Bingo. Round 25. Good.
Boston couldn't catch the Cavs, who won 83-78, and Cleveland was back in it thanks to a marvelous defensive effort. 3 nights later, there was another capacity throng at the Coliseum, and the Cavaliers gave them a real treat. It was another of those titanic struggles, but in the fourth quarter, the Cavaliers put it all together with one of their finest offensive displays of the playoffs.
95-83 Cleveland, passing against pressure to Russell. Russell into the backcourt, gets away from Silas, into the forecourt, top of the key. Russell to the line, to the lane, to the hoop, got it! Russell with 12. 97-83 Cleveland. 2:20 to play in the game. Ard is coming in. Collins goes out for Boston. McDonald is on. Kaburski is on. And the Celtics clear the bench. They have run up the white flag at Cleveland.
The Cavaliers finally won it 106-87, and the series was tied at 2. It was incredible. A brand new series. It was one of the finest victories in the Cavaliers' brief history, and it was inspired by old man Nate Thurman, who played like a 21-year-old. Thurman had 8 rebounds, 12 points, and 6 awesome block shots. Boston opened game number 5 without John Havlicek in the starting lineup, the result of a painful foot injury suffered in Cleveland. A decision that had been made to allow him to see action only if it became critical. It was another of those frantic battles. Cleveland up 23-22 at the quarter, tied at 42 at halftime. Disaster struck early in the third when Nate Thurman, who was doing a masterful job on Dave Cowens, picked up his 5th personal. He played with caution until fouling out with 5:03 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the score tied at 80. At that opportune moment, superstar Havlicek was inserted into the game by Celtic general manager Red Auerbach, who dashed to the bench after coach Tommy Heinsohn had been ejected. Big John didn't score from the field, but his very presence provided the inspirational lift Boston needed, and the Celtics exploded for 19 points in the final 5 minutes to win 99-94, although Cleveland closed within 1 point in the final 14 seconds. The Cavaliers went back to Cleveland with their backs to the wall. Could the Cavaliers do it? Could they fashion one more miracle and send the playoffs into a deciding seventh game at Boston? It seemed as though they just might. Boston a 22-19 lead at the quarter. Cleveland 46-43 at the half. Then late in the third quarter, Cleveland raced off 8 quick points to take a 69-61 lead. Boston came back with 6 straight, 69-67 at the three-quarter mark. For the Cavaliers, it all boiled down to the final 12 minutes. Tied at 69, Cleveland up by 4, tied at 76, tied at 78. A three-point play by marvelous Nate Thurmond gives Cleveland a 3-point edge, and the fans went wild. Boston right back 82-81 on Cowan's tip-in off a rebound. The Cavs call time at 3:59, and now we pick up the action.
Into Clem. 3:57 left. Clemens coming ahead with the dribble. Boston leads by 1 point. Clemens over the timeline, bounce left side to Brewer. Brewer on the left against Kaversky. Brewer to the circle. Top side left wing to Carr. Carr moves in on Kaversky, then backs off. Then to the circle. Jump shot Carr. Good! Carr with 24. Cleveland leads 83-82. Into the forecourt, Scott. Scott sideline right. Scott against Carr. The bounce into Collins. Collins in again. Thurmond. Stop. Double pump. Shot blocked by Thurmond out of bounds. Silas on the baseline will inbound. Right side Collins. Now to Scott. Scott right wing. Top side White. White between the circles. Left side to Collins. Collins against Thurmond. Collins to the circle. Give to White. White on the left side. White pass to Kaversky in the corner. Checked by Russell. Back out to White. Long bomb. Good. Joe White with 23. 84-83 Boston. 3 minutes to go in the game. Into the forecourt, Clemens. Clemens left side to Brewer. Brewer on the left. Boston leads 84-83. Top of the circle, Brewer. Brewer against Kaversky left of the circle. Top side to Russell. Russell on the wing from 25. Good! Russell with 7. Cleveland leads 85-84. Down the floor, steal the ball by Brewer from Collins. Cavaliers ball into the forecourt. Brewer with it. Clemens out front. Left side Russell. Russell on the left. 2:20 left. Cleveland leads by 1. Russell on the left wing. 7 on the shot clock. Russell pass it to Thurmond. Thurmond up to Russell. 3 on the shot clock. 25-footer, no good off the rim. Rebound Silas. Threw it outside to Scott. Scott over the timeline on the left side. Scott brings it back out front. 2 minutes to go in the game. Scott on the left wing. Left side to Joe White. White sideline left. 1:55 to go. Cleveland by a point. Collins sideline left. Collins off on the left sideline to White. White on the left side. Long bomb by Joe. Good. White with 25. 86-85 Boston. Clemens gets the ball. Looks. Waits. Flip to Thurmond. Thurmond back to Clemens. Clemens brings it out toward the middle of the floor. Between the circles. Clemens left wing. Left side to Russell. Russell on the left against Kaversky around a Clemens pick. Russell top of the key right side. Carr. Ball stolen by Scott. Scott dribble drive all the way. Laid it in on the stop.
That did it. The Cavaliers finally had run out of miracles. The Celtics put the icing on the cake 94-87 to move into the NBA Finals against the Phoenix Suns. And the Cavaliers went home with 6 months to think about what might have been if Jim Jones had been available. It had been an incredible end to an incredible season. The Cavs and their fans had come of age. For the Cavaliers, it was really not the end. It was the beginning. They had finally established themselves as one of the NBA powerhouses, a feat that deservedly earned for Bill Fitch the honor as Coach of the Year. 148,603 fanatic fans had seen the 7 games at the Coliseum, an incredible average of 21,229 per game. Disappointed at the final verdict? Yes. But they had been part of the miracle in Richfield, the Cavalier happening, and they would never forget it.